Passapier are a band who I have enjoyed actually for quite a few years now. They're one of those bands that I would say they're moderately well known, but you know, you'll talk to people who are Japanese music fans and you'll bring them up, and maybe like 80-90% of the time people just won't know who they are, and then you'll meet one person who'll go, yes, I'm so glad you've heard of them as well. They've been around for a while and they have this really interesting unique sound, kind of quite a high-pitched vocalist, and then some interesting, often quite upbeat music in the background, keyboard usage, but just really inventive writing. Anyway, they've got this new song that's just come out. Interesting enough, I was going to do a reaction to this last night. They had a link that was posted, and then the original link for this video went away, and it appears to be reposted. I don't know why, but the song is back up. It's been re-uploaded, so it says it's only been up for a few hours, but I know it's actually been up for a day. And it's called Passapier, A Hint of Happiness. No idea. This is a song at 4 minutes 16 seconds. I have no idea if it's going to be a rocker or a ballad, what it's going to be. All I know, this is a band who always delivers something interesting, and they haven't put out many MVs, any music videos in recent years. So given that this has a full music video release, I'm intrigued to see what we're getting. Yeah, so anyway, let's share this together. Hopefully, whether you're new to them or if you're already a fan, hopefully we can enjoy this one together. And as always, I'll give my thoughts after we've listened. Let's go. Okay, mysterious.
机の端っこに丸いレモン散らかった立ち去った部屋に残ってた読みかけのページを
Already so many sounds happening. Loving the build up.
それでも幸せの気配が不意に胸を刺すたった一口ちればほとばしるほどになんと
This is amazing. It seems like such a mainstream, beautiful pop ballad by their usual crazy standards. And yeah, I'm loving kind of the quirky, interesting sounds there, like that dissonant keyboard line. Kind of like it's got a bit of mystery to it. Double time, okay. That mixture of the low strings, the dirty guitar and the piano, it's all so interesting. Meanwhile, this beautiful melody is building up. Guitar line is really interesting. Oh, that's cool. Oh, such a nice transition there. That was really interesting the way they did that. And you know what? This melody is This could get stuck in my head. This could be a catchy one as well.
半透明の未来に手を伸ばしてみよう水の中にも未来を味わってみましょうか明日はいつもすぐそばで実っている
Yeah, there's something just about the whole way in which this is played. It's got so much personality, and if there was one thing I would say that I came to this group for, it's the feeling that every time they deliver a song, it never feels like the sound is just like, oh, okay, this is just like generic band sound. There's always a feeling like all of their songs are crafted to really have an appropriate sound for whatever mood they're putting across. And boy, oh boy, this definitely does the job beautifully here, because the first thing that you notice is that it comes in with this kind of mid-tempo pop ballad kind of vibe going on.
風がめくる止まってた時が
But even while it's doing that, listen to all the sounds going on. You've got kind of like a distorted guitar, you've got a piano in the background, you've got a bit of strings.
動き出す茜色の空に
Really interesting how it's kind of adding these sounds that maybe at first glance don't go together, but actually they're crafting them in the way that it's beautiful. It's all part of this swirl of sounds that's building up a sense of preparation for the chorus. And then when the chorus comes in, it's that beautiful chorus melody that we have there.
手を伸ばしてみよう水の甘いの未来をすぐそばで実
And you notice even there, like now the bass and the guitar, everything kind of settles down into a more relaxed place.
っている
And that's beautifully done. Then we get the second verse. It comes in double time. So rather than just rinse and repeat, it sort of double times the drums, which means that we get slightly more of a sense of, a bit of kinetic energy. The urgency picks up. And you notice here, all the instruments now become a lot more settled down. Then the guitar comes in. That little aspect of chaos comes back in. Then we build up to that second chorus. But the interesting thing for me is after the second chorus, because a lot of the time after the second chorus, the bridge is usually naturally what you expect to come next. Doesn't have to be, but that's naturally the way that your traditional songwriting pattern happens. And at that point, what's really interesting about that is the way that the bridge plays out. I always say a bridge can make or break a song. It's a really sign of a great songwriter, how you deal with your bridges. But what I really like here is that if you've ever worked in any situation where you're mixing a song, there's something kind of fun when you have all of the sliders, whether it be on a computer or a mixing desk, and you kind of like just slide down some things. You just listen to a couple of the sounds on their own. It kind of, by doing that, by taking a lot of the sounds away and just listening to maybe two sounds, and let's just have the vocals and the drums, or let's just have the guitar and the piano, and you just sort of move a couple of sounds up and move everything else down. It's a really good way of feeling, really coming to grips with what's going on in the song, the interplay between particular sounds and working out which things you want to focus on and bring to the forefront. What I really liked is the bridge was almost like someone with the two sliders kind of just doing this. And so you got to hear some of the interactions between the instruments brought up in a really interesting way. So here you've got, throughout, you've got the strings doing that sort of almost like the staccato, the da-dum, da-dum, which is almost like accenting where the beat is each time, or where each bar begins and ends. But basically we start off with like vocals and drums. Now it's the bass guitar and the vocals. Now it's just the strings and the guitar. Now the vocal comes in and builds it back up. So we're working our way towards that last chorus now by adding extra sounds. Notes are going up. And now it becomes a full solo. And I love the way it does that. It moves from sort of just playfully like highlighting a couple of sounds at a time to then sort of building up, pushing into a solo. And even when you push into the solo, interesting enough, the vocals have helped build you up from that quieter part into the solo. But of course, the solo comes in. Now we've got bass, drums, guitar, obviously guitar, the whole thing playing together. But now the vocals have dropped out. So there's still room to grow into that last chorus where everything, including the vocals, will appear. Focusing on the piano as well there. And you notice when we get into the chorus, it truly is a crescendo then. Everything's come back round. The full force of the song has been built up to at 3 minutes 32. All the way from when we had that breakdown over a minute earlier. So that entire minute from like 2.5 to 3.5 is just this slowly sort of like highlighting individual sounds and then building them back in. And rather than just sort of like, here's the bass line, and then drums come in, then piano comes in, then vocal comes in. It's like I spent a little bit of time highlighting some of the things going on in the arrangement, allowing you to kind of take a little bit of a tour through all of the instruments as it slowly swirls and builds back up to that point where, 3.5 minutes in, we've got the final chorus, everything's there, we have a crescendo. That's a really cool way to do a bridge. I really like that. And again, it plays to Pasapi's strength for soundscaping, for working with interesting sounds, interesting arrangements. So for me, I really like this. I thought the video was very simple. And again, it was just a camera sort of moving around, highlighting what each, getting all the blurry shots, highlighting what each person's playing, moving between all the instrumentalists, moving between what they're doing, showing each person, and therefore, if you like, allowing your eyes to see what the song is doing, which is kind of taking you on a little tour of all these interesting sounds. So I thought this was great. I think it had an emotional payoff. I think it had a great crescendo. I think it had a great arrangement. It was a beautiful melody. It didn't sort of get stuck in its ways and get too much of just a sort of standard ballad. It starts off one way, builds up to its chorus, and then double times in the second verse and does the whole thing again. Then you got a bridge that takes you on everything we just discussed about that wonderful build up to the crescendo. Yeah, for me, this is just a really interesting, well-constructed song. Enjoyed it a lot. I hope you do too. I hope you did too. And by the way, if you're interested in like sharing the music that you're into and you're interested in bands like this that maybe don't get covered as much as they should do remember, as well as this channel, we've also got our Discord that's been going for a few years, where it's a great place to find new bands and share the music you love as well. So feel free to pop in there, have a little discussion with our wonderful community that's been going on for several years. But anyway, look, until I hopefully see you either in the comments of this video, over in the Discord, or basically wherever you may be when the next one of these comes out. From here in Japan, and for now, ciao, ciao.